Hi, I'm here to show you how to use food as medicine to shrink fibroids naturally, to improve your hormone health and your overall health and wellness. If it's the first time that you're seeing me, my name is Josephine. I'm a detox coach and a women's health and wellness. Welcome to the Fibroid Shrinking Kitchen. Today I want to share a really delicious recipe. It's a spaghetti squash with Brussels sprout salad and mushrooms. So I love spaghetti squash because it's a great substitute for pasta, especially when you're on a detox process and you're looking for something to substitute pasta. And the reason why you need to substitute pasta, because pasta or rice or white rice, they're very pro-inflammatory. They feed fibroids, and while you're on a detox journey to heal yourself naturally, you want to do your best to omit these foods that are very pro-inflammatory and substitute them with electric foods that are really healing and nurturing, such as the spaghetti squash. So that's what I want to show you how to make today in your kitchen. I know that you can do this. It's not that hard. We're going to walk through the process together. Also, if you're on a health and wellness journey to heal yourself naturally using food, I have a 12-week detox program that will leave you feeling energized, feeling electric, loving your body back, having your self-esteem back. And that's what I do with the 12 weeks program. When you're done, you'll be like, fibroids, I'm done with you. So if you're interested, I have information under the description box. So with all that said, let's get into the kitchen and start preparing this spaghetti squash with mushrooms and Brussels sprout salads. All right, catch me in. Let's go. All right, let's start making this spaghetti squash with some mushrooms and Brussels sprout salad. So for this recipe, what you're going to need is the spaghetti squash. So this is how it looks like when you go to the store. Just please make sure when you're buying ingredients, do as much as possible to get organic ingredients. So this is but spaghetti squash that we're going to make the spaghetti out of this. And then for the spicing or for the seasoning of the spaghetti squash, we're going to use some chives and some cilantro as well. Okay, and for the salad, Brussels sprouts, we're going to use some Brussels sprouts. We're going to wash all that. And I also have 5 sweet peppers here that we're going to use on the salad. And for the salad, we're also going to need the spicy brown mustard. Okay, for the mushrooms, you're going to need the portobello mushrooms. I really like mushrooms because such a great substitute for meat, and they're really medicinal as well. They're alkaline to the body. So we are going to use the portobello baby mushrooms. This is 8 ounces. And for the mushrooms, we are going to add some of that acidity. We're going to use white wine vinegar. Then for other additional spices is oregano, paprika, curry powder, and black pepper. And we also have Celtic salt we're going to use, or you can use sea salt. For the salad, we're going to need EVO, extra virgin oil. And for the spaghetti, we're going to use some avocado oil, and also for the mushrooms when we are preparing that, because when you're cooking you want to use avocado, coconut oil, or grapeseed oil for sauteing food. But as far as salad, you don't want to cook extra virgin oil. It's really preferable if you eat it as it is in a salad, or if you're making any kind of dressing. So first thing first, for this salad, for this recipe, we are going to work with the spaghetti squash. So I'm just going to move everything aside. I will clean the spaghetti squash, and then I'm also going to wash the rest of the stuff that I have. So I'm just moving everything on the side, and we're going to put this in the oven. So what you need to do first is turn on your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit, 350 degrees Fahrenheit. And you're going to take your spaghetti squash and you're going to cut it in the middle. So be careful. So I have a sharp knife. So first thing first, I'm just gonna make a hole there. Then I am going to just Got that in the middle. So it depends on the sizes. Sometimes they have, the sizes vary, so just make sure you get something you can work with. Okay, so inside there are seeds. You can bake the seeds, but I'm not going to do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to scoop out the inside of the spaghetti squash. So spaghetti squash is such a great substitute for pasta. When you have fibroids and you are detoxing, you really want to eliminate as much wheat, grain, gluten, and things such as pasta, rice, brown rice, white rice, bread. They're really heavy for your digestive system, and also they keep feeding fibroid as well. They are inflammatory. So you want to try to omit as much of this processed grain as much as possible until you heal yourself. And a great substitute for those like pasta, spaghetti squash is perfect for that. So I would highly recommend that you can, for temporarily, relief, you omit the pasta, the regular processed pasta, any kind of rice, grain, gluten, as I said. All the lists that I mentioned, they're really inflammatory and they keep feeding fibroids. So you want to just cut that off until you liberate your situation. Okay, so we have scooped everything. As you can see, everything, it doesn't have to be perfect, but it came out pretty good. And what you're going to do is you're going to take your baking tray. So this is my baking. I'm gonna bake them this here. See, I use that a lot. And I'm taking 2 cups of water and I pour that in there. And I take my spaghetti squash and I put it upside down. Oh, that happened. Okay, and you put it like that in the 2 cups of water. Then we're going to put this in the oven for about 35 to 40 minutes while we prepare the rest of the ingredients. Okay, so right now the oven is ready. I'm just gonna put that in there and then we'll check back in about 35 to 40 minutes. So I'll put this spaghetti squash in the oven, and something I didn't mention is spaghetti squash is loaded with fiber, vitamin C, iron, folate, which is really great for pregnancy. So you definitely want to eat fiber-rich foods when you have fibroids or when you're trying to balance your hormones, because they grab onto that extra estrogen in your body to bring it into a state of balance, because fibroids are, it's a condition linked to excess estrogen in your body. So we have put that in the oven. So we're going to work on the Brussels sprouts and the sweet peppers. We are going to have this salad raw. So what we have done now, I have washed these, and what I do is I've washed the Brussels sprouts. I just cut the bottom part and we just work on keeping it clean, because we're gonna cut this thinly. Now, Brussels sprouts are a powerhouse. They are high in fiber. Again, if you have constipation, one of the things that fibroids does is you get constipated, and that's one of the things I struggled with too, was constipation. So they're high in fiber, and they also are high in protein as well, and vitamin K. So yes, you do get protein when you eat vegetables as well. So that's also, it's a source of protein, and also vitamin K, which is necessary for blood clotting. And also, as I said, that fiber is good for latching onto that excess estrogen. And also Brussels sprouts are really good for gut health as well. So you want to really look for, I'm also now cutting the top part of the sweet peppers. Sweet peppers are delicious, high in vitamin C, really good for boosting your immune system. So combining those two is really good, And you're eating raw. When you eat raw veggies, when you have fibroids, it's powerful, because they still retain that minerals and vitamins that are in your food. So you can still lightly saute the Brussels sprouts, but eating it raw, it's even better. There are different ways you can cook with Brussels sprouts, but today we're gonna eat it raw so that I know that you can do this in the kitchen. It's faster. You know, the spaghetti squash is what takes a little long, about 30 to 40 minutes, but the rest of the ingredients are pretty easy and fast. So while that is preparing, you just work on the rest of the ingredients, and before you know it, you'll have really healthy detoxing food that is really going to put you in a state of happy health and wellness, and you're going to start healing your body and eliminating any toxins and inflammatory. Okay, so do me a favor. If you're still watching this video, I hope you still are, because this is really good for you and you're going to heal from your fibroids. Please share this video with someone who you know is going through dealing with fibroids, and they're in the process of healing naturally or just balance their hormone, you know, for fertility, for any other health reasons, if they want to lose weight, because all these things are connected. Your hormone health connects everything. So right now I'm just cutting them in half, the Brussels sprouts, and I'm going to show you what I'm going to do next. So as I was saying, all these things are connected. The hormones control your weight, your sex, your libido, everything, your thyroid health, everything. They control a lot of things. So please share this video with people. You know, if you know someone who is on a journey to healing themselves naturally from fibroids, so that they can start feeling fantastic. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to start thinly. Be careful with the knife. Okay, just thinly cut this, because we're going to eat it raw. So you know, if it's too junky, it can be too crunchy too, you know, for some people. So when you cut it thinly, and then we're going to add the mustard and a little bit of salt there, it's really going to come out really delicious even when it's raw. But if you want a lightly sauteed, you have that option as well. But I highly recommend to eat a lot of your vegetables raw as much as possible. Okay, so I know that this is right now, it's a point where you feel that you're ready to make that change and you're ready to heal your body naturally. Under the description box, I have an ebook. It's a detox ebook that you can start using at home to eliminate any fibroids, any inflammation, to balance your hormone naturally. Inside the ebook, there's grocery list included, and there's also instruction on how to cook. So it's an ebook, you can access it immediately. You get access to it. You download it and you can have it on your phone anywhere you go, even in the store. So it's pretty good. So right now we're just thinly cutting this. As I said, one of the things that you really want to do when you want to heal your body naturally is to introduce electric whole plant-based food. And that means avoiding as much processed food as possible and doing your best, if you can, to prepare your home food. And this is something that I eat with my family. You know, it's not just, you know, you get to a point where you realize that you start feeling amazing and you start to just purge out those toxins and inflammation, and you feel, you know, your family can also use, you know, would want to feel, you want your family to be healthy, you know, you want to be healthy around each other, a healthy family, you know, health is wealth. Without health, you have nothing, you know, that's what I think. I don't know, what do you think? What do you think about that? Okay, so you see that? We have thinly cut that, and I'm gonna put that in a bowl, and now we're gonna work on the sweet peppers. Sweet peppers are delicious. You can remove the seeds if you want to. I prefer to use sweet peppers than the regular peppers, just because usually the regular peppers are on the dirty dozen, they're high in pesticides. But if you get organic, that's fine. You can use what you have. Just do your best to try shop organic because of the pesticides, herbicides that are being used. So right now we're also thinly cutting this. As I said, everything is cooking and the process is going. You know, you're doing this, put some music, have fun in the kitchen. Don't feel like you have to be bold and serious, you know. You can work with things very differently. So we are almost about done. You can make enough of this for the week to take to work, or to, you know, for have it another time for lunch or dinner. Okay, now we have put all this together. What I'm going to do is I'm going to transfer everything in a bowl, and we will work on adding the mustard in there and the salt, and I'm going to show you how to do that. And if you have honey, raw honey, we can put that in there too. I forgot to mention that at the beginning. It's optional, but you can do that. Okay, so we are going to work on this in a little bit. And okay, so now we're going to work on these Brussels sprouts. So the first thing first, we're going to take a little bit of salt to your liking, you know, don't just overdo it, but enough salt that you think will taste good. Okay, so you measure that. And also, if you have some lime on lemon, this is optional. I just like to, you know, it enhances. These are iron-rich foods, and when you put lime or lemon, it's rich in vitamin C, so it really helps with the absorption of iron. And then we're going to take that mustard. So first, I'm going to use a full spoon. So you know, you measure how much you have, you know. So I have a spoonful and a half. Then I'm just going to mix that in there, you know. What I like to do is I like to use my hand to really go in. And also, I'm going to add that oil, extra virgin oil that we have for the salad. As I said, use your extra virgin oil in your salad. So nicely coat it. If you want a little bit of sweetness, you can add some honey, you know. So what I like to do is, my hands are clean right now, okay? I'm going to take this, and I'm going to just mix that all in. Show love to your food, you know. Your hands are clean, but if you don't want to get messy, if you don't want to use your hand, hey, you know what? Do what's comfortable for you. But all I say is, when you use your hand to massage that oil in there, to massage that mustard, you get a different flavor because it absorbs really well inside your food, and it comes out really, really yummy, okay? And the reason why we worked on this first is because it will absorb everything. So when everything is ready to be served, we are going to be just rock and rolling, tasting good in here, okay? So this is about ready. Okay, so we're gonna set this aside, and now we're going to work on that mushrooms. Okay, so hang in there. Okay, so now we are moving on to the mushrooms. So the mushrooms are going to be lightly sauteed. Mushrooms are such a great substitute for meat. As I said, they're high in antioxidant, great source of protein, riboflavin as well, which is important for energy production, and selenium as well, which is good for your thyroid health, to balance those hormones. So I really love using mushrooms in different ways. Portobello is one of my favorite mushrooms that I use a lot. I usually honestly try to or cremini or the portobello. Those are my two favorite mushrooms. And we are also going to chop some of the chives, and I've also washed the cilantro as well. These are really great for adding that flavor into your food, so your food is not bland and you're really not enjoying what you're making in the kitchen. So I highly recommend that you do that. So what we're going to do is we're just going to chop this. You can make it into half, because they do shrink, you know. Or you can, you can cut out the step if you want, or you can cook with them. Sometimes I take out I peel the skin, or sometimes I leave it, if it's clean, it's not slimy, because they can be a bit tricky sometimes, but I leave it, I just make sure that I wash it good. So I'm going to quarter that, half that. You can leave it in big pieces, whichever way you like. There are no rules in the kitchen except to be safety. So you can be creative as you want. And if you want to know how to balance your hormone naturally to shrink fibroids, I have a link also under the description box for my webinar that you can access. So I have that under the description box. So share this video with someone you know is on a journey. As I said, you work on this slowly. You eliminate those foods that are feeding fibroids. And that's why I am so happy to share this recipe with you, because I know that you can do this in your kitchen. You can take time to care for your body, because when you eat healthy food, you're really setting yourself up for success in health and in wellness. And you're going to eliminate those female reproductive issues that right now is a pandemic. You know, fibroids is really a pandemic right now. And this is the best way. And obviously, diet is a big part of eliminating fibroids naturally, but also stress, you know, managing stress. Those are really big part of when you are shrinking fibroids, you know, managing your stress, finding stress relief techniques, eliminating any kind of toxins and ingredients in your personal care products, just different ways of balancing those hormones. And that webinar that I have under the description box explains the ways how to do that. Okay, so find that in the description box. So right now we have chopped this up. We're going to set everything aside, and we're going to lightly saute the mushrooms and, you know, cook the mushrooms, and then everything is almost ready. We have done the Brussels sprouts and everything is almost ready. We're going to put everything together. So right now I'm just combining the chives and the cilantro together, and then I'm setting that aside. We're going to use that when we are making the spaghetti squash. Okay, so now get your saucepan, and then we are going to add the mushrooms in there. This is on medium heat. So mushrooms they shrink a lot. So the first thing is that once they heat up really nicely, the water comes out of them, and then you know, so we gotta let them we'll give it about 6 minutes where we're just gonna let them rest. There's nothing in here right now. I can add just a little bit of water. But they're gonna start shrinking. Mushrooms are really great. So I just reduced the heat to low to give it time. You'll see all this is just, you know, right now it seems like it's sticking, but it's soon gonna come out good, the water. Okay, so they're cooking down. We just let them be so we don't mess up with them so much. So we'll check back in about 5 minutes. Okay. Okay, so it's been 5 minutes, as you can see. Now I'm putting it back to medium heat. And I just want, almost when I see that it's looking good, like cooked. So this is gonna be about, in total, we're looking at about 10 minutes to make sure that the mushrooms have cooked through. And then we are going to add the avocado oil, the white vinegar, some black pepper, and curry powder in here. Then we're gonna set this aside, and the spaghetti squash are about done as well. As you can see, this is not, you know, it's not, so I've tried my best to do steps by step so you don't feel like it's too much. You know, it's pretty much easy. If you have, you know, organized, you put everything organized, you're gonna have a great experience when you're cooking. It's only when you have everything and you're not organized, it gets a bit overwhelming, but it's not. You just have to take time, prepare everything. It's about prep time and then cooking in a way where you feel like you don't have everything going on at once, but then you do, because we have the spaghetti squash, but it's not too, you know, overwhelming. This is really nice, you know. Okay, so it's been about 5 minutes, so we're gonna let this until we see that the water has cooked through all. See, all the water has been absorbed back, and it's looking like it's starting to stick. That's when we're gonna add that, a little bit of the white vinegar. And the white vinegar is really good because with mushrooms it goes so well. It brings out the taste, that acidity taste. It's really delicious. Give yourself a chance with mushrooms, really. They are alkaline to the body and they taste really meaty. For me, I think I find portobello mushrooms to be the one that tastes like meaty. So give yourself time with them and you will come to enjoy and love them. I use them in making burgers. So my next recipe, you know, if you would like to learn how to make that bean burger, I will show you how to do that as well. So stay tuned. Also remember to share this video with someone who is on a healthy healing journey, losing weight, just to start feeling fantastic, because that's what you start feeling when you start eating like this. You start feeling amazing inside out. All those, the heavy bleeding starts to diminish. You start to sleep better. Your body craves for healthy food, and that's what it wants for you. It just needs it. Your body is always ready to heal. You just need to give it a chance. Okay. All right. So as you can see now, everything is starting to stick. So that's good. This is now we start to add. So a little bit of white vinegar. You can put like a spoonful or teaspoon, just a little bit, nothing crazy, just to give it that. When you add the vinegar, you just, it comes to your face. It can be a bit strong. And so I'm taking now the avocado oil. I'm gonna add a little bit to coat. So the avocado oil. Now things are starting to look good here. Then I'm gonna take some black pepper. As your liking, add to your liking. If you like too much, if you like even a little bit of spiciness, you can add some chili. As I said, you can add whatever spice that you like. These spices I like to use, they're anti-inflammatory. Pepper, oregano that we're gonna use on the spaghetti. So I'm gonna reduce the heat now to low, so we don't burn anything, because we don't want to burn any food. And let's not forget to add some salt. So I have the Celtic salt. We're gonna add some salt in there. What do you think? It looks good, right? It tastes good too. Meaty. It tastes really meaty. If this is all in this recipe. I've given you 3 in this cooking video. These are 3 recipes that you can work around. You can use them. You can just make salad separately, have it with quinoa, or you can have the mushrooms with just the salad. So you have 3. Today you've learned 3 recipes that you can just alternate and use differently. And I hope that this will help you do that. Okay, so everything is starting to stick. The mushrooms are ready. They're ready. They look good. They smell good. And you are going to start feeling amazing too when you eat like that. So don't forget to grab a copy of your ebook, detox ebook, under the description box, because that's the beginning of an amazing journey of health and wellness for you, and you never look back. When you start feeling amazing, fantastic, you don't look back. Okay, so this is ready. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to set this aside, and on the same pot we are going to use, I'm going to show you what we're going to do to prepare everything for that spaghetti squash, to make it really delicious and not boring at all. Okay, so I'm just going to remove this, and then we're going to use the same pot. Okay, so now I'm setting everything aside, and the next thing that's going to happen is we are going to add the same pot, because it kind of like saves you time and you don't want to mess up another pot. It's even good, the flavor of the mushrooms and everything is just going to work so good. Be careful. Okay, so I'm going to add a little bit of that oil again. Okay, so a little bit of that oil we're going to add in there, and then we're going to throw in, we're going to take some of the paprika. So a little bit of paprika. When the spice cooks, the flavor comes out good. So this is smoked paprika I'm using. And then I'm going to take a little bit of the oregano. The flavor comes out, quickly. So a little bit of the oregano. And if you like, you can add also some black pepper. All right. It starts to smell really good because the oil really brings out the flavor so good. I love it. I love it. I love this. This is good. Okay, so you see that color? See, that's good. So what we're going to do, turn off the heat, everything. See, remember the pot is still hot, right? So just turn that off. Now this is your cilantro and the chives. Okay, this is good. Everything is set. Everything is ready. And also the spaghetti squash have been in there for 35 minutes. So we're gonna take that out, and I'm gonna show you exactly what to do now. Now this is perfect.
See how it cooked down a little bit? Just a little bit. We have a little mushroom lingering in there. Don't worry, it's all gonna come in together. Okay, so this is ready. I'm gonna set this aside, and now we're gonna work on that spaghetti. We're gonna put it on the table, and I'll show you what to do next, and we are ready. Everything is all set now. Okay, so the spaghetti squash are ready. It's hot. Be careful. What you're gonna do is you're going to remove them from that water. Remember that 2 cups water that we used, and set them aside for about 10 minutes to cool off a little bit, okay? So be careful with that. I checked inside. So let me do this. Be very careful because it's very hot. So you kind of don't want to overcook it, but you see that? See what's coming out of that? This is what we're going to be working with. It's perfect. It's not overcooked. You kind of want it still a little crunchy. So this is awesome. So I'm going to take it out, and I'm going to set it aside for about 10 minutes to just cool off, and then we're going to combine everything together, okay? Okay, so it's been 10 minutes. It's cooling off pretty good. So this is what we are working with. Just be careful. If it's still hot, you can hold. So what you do is just take a fork and you scoop that out. You know, it's hot. Just be careful. See how that looks? Oh my gosh, it's so... This is low in carb. If you're really trying to eliminate those high carb foods, it's delicious. Now think about, now we're gonna add that cilantro and chive and add a little bit of oil in there. So delicious, so nutty. It's nutty flavor. It's very light and good for you. So you just do your best to scoop everything in there. As I said, it's hot, so be careful. You can let it cool more if you want. You can let it cool for another additional 15 minutes. Or you can be hardcore, you know, like I'm not doing right now, but I wouldn't recommend that. Just try to do your best to be safe in the kitchen. Okay, so you make plenty of this to have, you know, it takes about, total in everything, could look about maybe an hour to make all this, but if you make plenty, though, you have 2 dishes for the week. And if you're on a journey to heal yourself naturally, to detox, eliminate fibroids, so you can reduce those symptoms you're experiencing right now, and you are empowered and ready to learn to empower yourself with tools, truth, I'm here to coach you through in my 12-week detox program, which is soon opening up its door, and I'll be really happy to have you in and see how I can support you. We can work this together and see how best I can support you in your healing journey, natural healing journey. Okay, so you see what we have right now? This is what we need. We're looking for this. It's not overcooked, so it's still crunchy. It's really, really good. So we have prepared that. I'm going to show you what we have. We have the mushrooms. We have the asparagus. And we have that cilantro and the chives together, okay? So we're going to plate all this, and I'm going to show you, we do it together. So that's what we prepared. Within an hour, we were able to do all that. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take our, I'm going to take a big bowl here, okay? And I'm going to add this in the big bowl, the spaghetti squash. Low in carb, delicious, delicious for you. High in fiber, so you're gonna go to the bathroom more often if you eat like this, okay? Okay, and then what we're going to do, we're going to take that cilantro, we're gonna add it in there. So remember, the flavor is already in that cilantro. Add a little bit of salt because we did not add enough salt for even the spaghetti, so sprinkle some salt to your liking. And a little bit of oil, and I use EVO, extra virgin oil. Okay. And now we are going to mix this up. And you can add salt as you like, to your liking. It smells so good. And because of the cilantro, it really brings out that flavoring really, really good. Oh, it smells so good just by the mixture of itself. Oh, yeah. This is fantastic. See that? Look at that. It's color. It's good. Looks good. Okay, so I'm going to plate this and we are ready. Lunch, dinner, whatever you want to have it. I have no rules when I'm eating. You know, I eat this for midday, like brunch. Okay, look at that. Really good, really super healthy, really detoxing and healthy for you. All right, so let me plate everything and I'll show you the final results. All right, now look at that. I don't know about you, but this, I'm ready to dig in. So we have that Brussels sprouts, which is raw with some sweet peppers. Then we have the spaghetti squash right there with some cilantro and chives, really tasty. And we have the mushrooms in there, oh, with the black pepper. And then you can sprinkle some of that in there. The lemon, look at that. Really powerful food. Food is your medicine, my dear, and you can heal. I'm here to tell you that you can shrink fibroids naturally. All it takes is some time of self-care with real food, whole plant-based food that are healing and nurturing, and that's why I'm here to support you. So please, if you like this video, go ahead and share it with someone else to make their day as well. And I hope that you will give this recipe a try. And as always, be well, be healthy, be happy, and I'll catch you in the next cooking tutorial. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.